No, yes. I mean, people forget Khalil's 21 years old, like second year in the league. There's going to be ups and downs, and he's still learning. The best thing about Lil is he wants to learn, he wants to be great, and there's going to be ups and downs, and you see tonight his potential that he could tap into. 7 blocks, should have been 8, and he's continuing to get better.
Okay, Bam's in foul trouble. This is me now. I've sort of got to get it done. It seemed like you played with an even higher level of aggression after he got in that foul trouble.
Yeah, I feel like it was, more of a vice versa moment. Like last game when I was in foul trouble and he had to, play most of the minutes. But, I feel like it's just, just knowing you got to step up and, provide that role of being the center out there. So.
We often hear players talk about being in an offensive rhythm. It seemed like you were in a defensive rhythm. What was that like?
Yeah, I didn't really like, what happened last game. So I wanted to come out here and, just show different.
Well, this is the first 10-10, 5-5 game in franchise history, and the first one in league history off the bench. Does that historical significance kind of mean anything to you?
Yeah, it shows that I'm impacting the game, and I'm going out there and I'm affecting and being able to help my team, prove that I can play and get a plus.
Spo was saying it. Everybody's kind of on you to be more aggressive defensively, contest more shots. What's that been like? What's your approach like defensively to kind of meet that challenge? And what's the balance of testing a lot of shots, but also not taking yourself out of the play?
Like you kind of said, just knowing when to go get it, when not to get it. But I feel like, you learn from going to go get them more than, just trying to, sit back to, not really going to go get it to gauge it that way. So it's basically, just going to go get them, more times than not. So.
It's a good foul there midway through the third quarter, and you guys were able to take the lead and build on that lead. What did you like about the way you guys were able to kind of take momentum there with Bam on the bench?
We just professionally came out and we all handled business. I thought it was a great team effort, on both sides of the floor. Everybody stepped up. It's a collective win on playing a second or the same team on not a back-to-back, but playing them 2 times. It's never easy to get a win, back-to-back like that. So it was good to see us take care of business.
When Bam went out, you sort of took over a little bit more of the offense and looked awfully comfortable. Do you sort of feel every game a little more comfortable, a little more at ease? Or on the other hand, is playing this much after not playing so long fatiguing? Sort of where do you stand in your process?
I'm really tired. I'm trying to have to just take care of my body and get back, to where I was.
Spo was saying that you guys are on Kel'el to be more aggressive defensively. He had 7 blocks today, 5 steals. How much do you enjoy seeing that? How much are you guys on him to be more aggressive?
Yeah. No, yes. People forget Khalil's 21 years old, like second year in the league. There's going to be ups and downs, and he's still learning. The best thing about Lil is he wants to learn, he wants to be great, and there's going to be ups and downs, and you see tonight his potential that he could tap into. 7 blocks, should have been 8, and he's continuing to get better.
What's your thoughts on obviously Kaz? He kind of was especially huge in the 3-point shooting range there. Can you just kind of talk about what you've seen from him?
Man, Kaz is one of the hardest workers I've been around. He comes in every day, works his tail off, and that's why you see the results that he's producing in his time and his opportunities that he's getting as he continues to get older and more comfortable. You just continue to see how good Kaz is.
Bam, can you kind of talk about how satisfying it is to get a win like this, especially when you get into foul trouble and Kel'el kind of comes in and does what he does, and even the young core as well?
Everything's not going to be perfect, and being able to trust one another and obviously get this win, it showed growth for this team.
Bam, this was, I don't know if you overheard in the locker room, it's the first 10-10, 5-5 game in franchise history, first one off the bench in NBA history.
That's crazy.
And you guys can be a little hard, I'm sure, on Kel'el sometimes, but what does it mean for him to have a moment like that?
Marked itself in Heat history and NBA history. So kudos to him. I'm proud of him. And he did it while getting a double-double, so that makes it even better. But like I've always said, y'all see what he can do. And he was able to showcase a lot of Obviously the defensive side, but 7 for 9 for the field, and he played well today.
Spo was talking about Kasper's shot kind of being one of the better shooters on the team, and maybe it wasn't the case back in July. What have you seen, I guess, from his growth as a three-point shooter, and what do you think's kind of changed for him?
He's not hesitating. He's not really thinking about it. He's just catching and just shooting it. And when you're in a rhythm like that, we want you to just catch and shoot. Don't overthink it, because a lot of times that's gonna be the best shot you're gonna get. So for Kaz, it's keeping it simple for him.
Bam, Spo said after this game and the last few games you guys have played, you deserve an opportunity to go play a big game on the road tomorrow. How do you view going up against Charlotte, who's been playing, so well that they're getting sort of celebrated on the national stage?
It'll be fun. It's another test for us to get over, and we got to look forward to challenges like that. We're gonna go into this later on in the season where from 6 weeks from now we're gonna have to get wins like that on the road. So it's good for us to have that test now.
Coach, a lot of efforts tonight, obviously, but especially that young core off the bench led by Kel'el filling up the stat sheet. Can you talk about their impact in Kel'el?
Hey, he was jumping, getting off the ground, and the head coach didn't even have to tell him. I think his teammates are encouraging him to be more aggressive guarding the basket, and he's getting more alert on situations. This first few rim protections were in our man, which are the toughest ones to get in the pick and roll. But he was super active tonight. Really should have been 8 blocks. And then I think they took another one off. That could have been 9 blocks. Who's got the most blocks this season? Wemby, 9. Dang it! Should have been Kel'el tying that tonight. But I'm encouraged by his last handful of games. Just doing a lot of things that are impacting the game.
And I know you got a couple blocks in man, but he has played a lot of zones since All-Star, especially in half-court possessions. Why has that been the right fit for him the last few weeks?
For Kel'el?
Yeah.
I don't know. But if something's working right now, we're going to lean into it. There's a few less decisions, you have to make. Everything's kind of in front of you. You can just kind of focus on protecting the basket and not have all the nuances of multiple handoffs and pick and rolls and different coverages and all the cleverness of all the high usage players. The last 3 games, Bam's also been on the court with him when we've been in our zone. That always helps. Bam's one of our better communicators. But regardless, like I said, the first half we were in our man, and he was very good, in the pick and roll.
Seemed like you didn't want to bring Bam back into the game there in the fourth quarter, but how did you like the way the team responded, kind of when you picked up that 5th foul midway through the third quarter?
Yeah, that was probably our best stretch. When he went out, we had a really strong finish to the end of the third quarter. Our beginning of the fourth quarter was terrific. We got up to 24, so I thought, we could push that thing and leave Tyler and Bam, on the side with us. But then they knocked down 3 straight threes, and we were able to respond, from there. But it was a professional win. We wanted to be able to get this, back-to-back set versus the same team. We haven't been able to do that this year. We had a handful of cracks at it. We haven't been able to do it, so just a little mini, victory within a season. We wanted to handle that.
Sorry for my English. Rafael Padilla, El Padi TV from Dominican Republic. What do you think about Jaime Jaque Jr., the offense's 18 point?
Yeah, well, we're arguably at our best when Jaime plays well. There's a lot of different guys that can impact, but when he's our downhill guy and he's making things happen, in the paint, we become a more dynamic offensive team. And he was very assertive tonight. He was doing it in a lot of different ways, and the ball was able to find him on some closeouts, and then he was also able to have some situations where he was creating something out of nothing. just really rugged and physical with his attacks, and we need that. We don't want to just play around the 3-point line. We want to be able to attack the rim and put pressure on the paint, and Jaime really allows us to do that.
So, but you mentioned guys pushing Kel'el to be more aggressive. It seems like it's the case for Kaspers as well. What did you like, I guess, from that first?
Differently though.
For sure.
Like they're saying, Kel'el, be aggressive defensively.
Defensively,
Be
offensively.
alert, be aggressive. Be in it.
But with this 3-point shot specifically, we kind of pushing the aggression. He got 7 attempts, kind of knocked down 3 in that first stint. Just what did you like?
Cass.
What did you kind of like his shot?
Cass has really been working at it, and he's clearly one of our better 3-point shooters. I don't know if you could make that case in July. He was a good 3-point shooter, but he's really refined it. His release is quicker. His reps, are always at the top of our roster in the gym. He's putting in so many reps, and he's also now able to do a little bit more on the move, and that really helps us. We need that spacing. We need his creativity. We need, the things that he can do off the dribble. But arguably, we need, or we are finding the benefits of his shooting. Playing off of others. And that'll just continue to get better. It's hard to find, players that can do both. That can play off the ball and move and get into open spaces. He's also a very good, clever catch-and-go guy. But, I think, his 1 year at Illinois, he was ball dominant. So he also is one of those guys as well. It won't be as much, with us right now, but you can see where that will also be a skill set that he can, lean into.
How will you celebrate the win?
With my tea, my chamomile tea, and then my laptop like Cooper is doing right now, and start to get ready for a big game tomorrow night. I think we earned the right these last 3 games to have a big game on the road tomorrow night.